Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sarah and I'm from The Colorful Apple and I'm here to share some brand new books with you. Now, if you've been around for a while, you're probably wondering, it's the beginning of the month. Don't you usually share books at the end of the month? Well, I thought I'd switch it up a little bit this month and I'd love to know what you think about it. So let me know in the comments below. I always share books after they've already come out, so at the end of the month after all the books that have been released. But I'm going to try something different so that way you know what's coming. I will say that the books that I have today, I didn't put them in any particular order. It's not when they're released, it's just they're all coming out at some point in November. So keep your eye out for each one of these, especially if there's one that you're really looking forward to and really want to share with your class. So I think I have at least 10 books to share with you today. I think there's actually quite a few more. There's a lot of picture book releases this October, and I will have even more over on my blog too. So if you head over to my website, thecolorfulapple.com, when this video is released, there will also be all of the books up on my website. I don't know if I've ever shared that before, but you can see all of it written out on my website. If you are looking for more books, I'll add more on there as well. Now, let's jump into these brand new books that are coming out in the month of October in 2024. The first book is called Quiet Karima. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly, but it's about this young girl who, she's a quiet girl. She's very introverted. She enjoys those quiet times. In the beginning of the book, she's listening to all the sounds around her. The birds chirping outside, the neighbors talking. And as she strolls through her city, she notices all of these different sounds. But then she gets to the music shop and there's quiet. And along with the teacher at the music shop, they discover that in order for there to be music, there must also be quiet. And she learns to share her passion for music with the world. So I think this would be a great book, especially for those students who, one, are either quiet or students who enjoy music as well. I think this would be a great picture book read aloud for your class. This next book is coming out just in time for the holiday season. This one is called Tamales for Christmas, and it's written by Stephen Briseno. And the book is actually based on a true story about his own grandmother. His grandmother is looking for ways to pay for all of the different holiday gifts that she wants to purchase, and she's kind of looking for a way to earn extra money. So she starts making tamales for the neighbors, and she starts to sell them and earns that money to pay for all of the gifts, as well as being able to donate her tamales to people who are in need. So it's really a heartwarming story that shows the true spirit of Christmas, a perfect read aloud coming up in the next few months. Next, we have Where to Hide a Star by Oliver Jeffers. And this is a sequel to his book Lost and Found, if you've read that one. So when his friend Star goes missing, the boy, the penguin, and the Martian travel to the North Pole to find it. But this extraterrestrial adventure has a surprise in store for the boy and his friends, and you'll have to grab this one to read aloud with your class to figure out just what that surprise ending is. I have another holiday book that is released in October 2024. This one is called Elmer. I keep wanting to say Elmer, like Elmer the elephant, which is one of my favorite books. This is Elmore, the Christmas Moose, and it's written by Deb Petty. In this story, Elmore answers a classified ad and he's ready to fulfill his dream of leading Santa's sleigh. Unfortunately, since he's not a reindeer, he's not exactly a match for this position, but he doesn't give up. He is determined and he writes a letter to Santa, and although he doesn't quite get the job he wants, Santa does end up finding the perfect job for him. Another great holiday read aloud. Another new release in October 2024 is part of one of my favorite series. This is the Big Bright Feeling series by Tom Percival, and this one is called Bee's Bad Day. In this story, Bee is so excited because her birthday is coming up and it's her favorite day of the year. She has such high hopes for what's going to happen. The friends and family she's going to see, the presents she's going to get, the fun she's going to have. But then a storm blows in and changes everything. Everything seems completely ruined, and Bee's special day turns into a bad day. And so we read through this book and discover if Bee can take this disappointing day and make it okay. Now, I really love this series. Each one of the books talks about a different type of feeling in a way that makes it more concrete for students to understand and makes it okay, or makes them understand that it's okay for them to feel the feelings that they have. I think sometimes so often we shut down children for having feelings, when these books really reassure them that it's okay to have these feelings and how to help them work through those feelings and come out better on the other side. That we don't want to just shut those feelings down or turn them off, that we want to work through them and that it's okay to have those feelings. So even if you don't grab this brand new one, I highly recommend grabbing one of the other ones. They all have very bright colors and are engaging for students and make it easy for them to understand these topics that are often difficult to talk about. And speaking of birthdays, this next one is also about birthdays. It's called The Brighter Eey Shine. In this story, an Armenian child is celebrating her birthday, and one of the traditions in this culture is to tell stories about the person who's celebrating their birthday. And as you go through the story, more and more stories are told to this child about her life and where she started and how far she's come. And the more stories she hears from her friends and her family, the brighter she shines and the happier she is on her birthday. So slightly different from the last book, but also another one about birthdays. The next new release for October 2024 is My Hair is My Friend. In this book, a young girl, Callie, realizes that her hair does not listen to a thing that she says. She wants it to go a certain way, and it just is not happening. So her big sister steps in to help her and teach her to treat her hair like her friend, with kindness, with respect, with love. And as she does this with her big sister, she learns to love her hair and how to take care of it and appreciate it for what it is. The next book is the third in a series by Kwame Alexander. This one is How to Sing a Song. If you know the other two books in the series, How to Read a Book and How to Write a Poem, then you will love this one as well. This one really talks about how we all have music inside of us and that we should let it out and share it with the world. I will say I haven't seen this one yet. I do know the first two, while they are amazing books, are a little difficult to read aloud. They are collage illustrations, especially with the words, which makes it a little difficult if you're holding it and trying to read it to a class. So I would check this one out before you read it aloud, and even maybe read it to yourself a few times beforehand, because again, while it's probably an amazing book, it can be a little bit more difficult to read aloud. But definitely grab it for your class. Your students will enjoy reading it on their own as well, especially those students who love music. This next book is also part of a series. This one is called I Am We, a book of community, and this one's written by Susan Verde. If you've read any of her other books, they're all about, again, talking about your own feelings, taking care of yourself, and this one really follows in those footsteps. She talks about how important it is to take care of ourselves in order to be able to help others. Because if we are not putting ourselves first in taking care of ourselves, then we cannot help others. We cannot share more of us if we are not doing the things that we need for our own bodies and our own mental health. And she talks about how the better that we feel inside, the easier it is for us to be able to share that goodness, that caring, that compassion with others. And that's what truly creates a community, is everyone not only caring for themselves, but then also sharing that with the others in the community as well. This next one will probably make you hungry. This one is called Papa's Butter Chicken. And I feel like there have been so many book releases about food lately for kids, and I really love it because it shows how baking and cooking and sharing meals brings a family, brings friends, brings a community together, and how heartwarming that is. And so this one is no exception. This one's about a young girl named Monica and how she shares in the cooking of her favorite dish, her Papa's buttered chicken, and how they cook it together. And while they're having this wonderful time making it together, they are singing and dancing in the kitchen and just enjoying themselves and being together. And when the dish is finally done and they're ready to sit down and eat, the doorbell rings. And that's when Grandma and Monica's uncles and even the neighbors stop by to join the feast with them. So again, another wonderful book about food, about bringing family, friends, and community together. The next new picture book release we have in October 2024 is probably a character you've heard of before. This is Amy Wu and the Lantern Festival. Now there are quite a few Amy Wu books, and this one's about celebrating the Chinese New Year. And Amy talks about how this is her favorite holiday and how her family celebrates for 2 weeks, and she loves all of it. All of the food and the decorations, and most of all, the traditions. And her favorite tradition is carrying the lantern on Lantern Festival Day. This lantern is really special because every time Amy's father lights it, he's reminded of his mother. But then what happens when Amy accidentally crushes the lantern? Will the holiday be ruined, or will they be able to save it? You'll have to read it with your class to find out. And this last book might be my favorite because it is another sequel, and the original, or the first book, was probably one of my favorite books. This one is called Night Owl and Early Bird by Christopher Denise, and if you read Night Owl, you remember how adorable that little owl is and what a great character he was. So in this story, Night Owl meets an unlikely friend in Early Bird. Now, Early Bird wants to be brave and have a job just like Night Owl. Unfortunately, she falls asleep a lot. And then after she falls asleep on the job and she's awake, she's pestering Night Owl with her questions and her stories and talking all day long. But when there are strange things happening in the forest, can Night Owl and Early Bird work together to keep the castle safe? Again, you'll have to read it with your class to find out. Now, those are just some of the great picture book releases from October 2024, and I hope that you'll be able to grab some of them to share with the students in your class as read-alouds. Let me know if you like having this video at the beginning of the month or at the end of the month after the books have already been released. Let me know in the comments and I'll kind of figure out our schedule of what videos are being released. Make sure you stay tuned for the next couple weeks because I have some books that are perfect for the month of October that I think you'll want to read aloud with your class. If this video was helpful for you, make sure you give it a thumbs up, hit that red subscribe button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you'll know when videos are released. I do try to release them every Monday morning so that you have them to watch before your week begins. But make sure you let me know if you like this video so that I can bring more content like this to you. Have a great week.